So Daisy, from about the age of 2, you knew was just going to be on the stage. There was just, she's a natural. She's a natural talent. She's a Gaza of the acting world.
Brilliant.
And that was all she wanted to do. And she went to RADA, which is probably the top, well, meant to be the top drama school in the world, and hated it. And I think it's a bit like a Gaza going to a football academy. I think, for real natural talents, don't try and change them.
Mhm.
And I think that they tried to change her, and it took her a long time to kind of recover from that and get back to what she does best. The complete chalk and cheese, as you've got kids, you know what it's like. You think, how on earth can they have the same parents? And Charlie was completely different. The last thing he'd ever do was go on the stage, but and he's had no training whatsoever, but he's incredible success, not only with the writing, which they do 50-50, but also his portrayal of Curtin, and he's gone on to do some drama stuff, which he's been superb. And again, he's a natural, but in a completely different way. It's an absolute classic example of nature and nurture. So Daisy was the nature, and Charlie was the nurture.
Fantastic.
And there are quite a lot of kind of connections with football, and how you would, and everything really we did when they were kids was just praise and encouragement, and just let them do their own thing, and I think that's we can get a bit tough on our kids, and I think just praise and encouragement goes a long way. I mean, I was very lucky to be in it. Daisy said, Dad, you look a bit like me. You can see that we're father and daughter. Do you want to do a screen test for it? And I've always, I'm a big world's biggest show off. You know me. So I love anything like that. I've never done any acting. I think I look back. The last time I acted was as a 4-year-old in a school pantomime, and so I did the screen test. And they kind of said, yeah. And it was meant to be quite a small character, but they kind of built it into quite a kind of main character. Absolutely loved it. If I could do that for a living all the time, getting picked up by a car, taken to your dressing room, waited on hand and foot, and then just, say a few lines and go home again. I mean, that's, I know I didn't have as many lines and to learn as the kids and the main actors, but yeah, God, I just absolutely loved it. I'd love to do more of it.
Well, I'm sure we'll have loads of this country fans listening to this podcast. And Paul, your stage name was Martin Mucklowe. Can you give us a rendition?
Yeah, Martin Mucklowe. Yeah, Martin. I peaked in the 70s, I peaked in the 80s, and I peaked in the 90s, and I didn't like it one slice. So I peaked again just to make sure I didn't like it. And I didn't like it that time either. Yeah, he's not a nice man. He's like the worst father, the worst everything. Absolute horrendous. But it's brilliant playing a baddie. Absolutely love playing a baddie. And what a city Belfast is. That is a great night. I mean, your pubs and your and your restaurants. I mean, and your cafes as well. Toast, yeah.
Oh, toast, the legendary toast.
And your Ulster fry. Belfast is just like a second home. Absolutely love going.
I'm a big fan of Gogglebox. We always enjoy watching it on a Friday. And you and Daisy were on the special Celebrity Gogglebox.
Yeah, that's right. That was we were kind of driven because of COVID. You had to go to a neutral venue. So we were just kind of driven to this house in the Cotswolds, and there's this big hamper full of drink, alcohol and snacks. And I had quite a few drinks, and I was kind of a bit of a zombie. And but it was great fun. And I made quite a remark about blue slush puppy in a film with Sharon Stone. It's probably too rude to go on this thing, but yeah, that seemed to capture the public's imagination. I'm hoping there'll be another one. I'd love to do another one. It was so much fun. Great laugh.
So I'm sure anybody that's thinking, what the heck, they can go onto YouTube, I'm sure, and just put that in the search bar. Although I'm getting a wee bit worried now. If anybody searches Blue Slushy and Sharon Stone and Paul Cooper, what they're going to get. But
I
anyway.
wish. Yeah. And you get a free takeaway as well after. So we had a lovely Chinese in the car on the way home.
Fantastic.
So yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Win. And just finishing, on this country, I believe it's going to America.
Yeah, it's been filmed. The series is out, is ready. They do a lot of episodes. I think they do about like 10 or 11 episodes or something. So it's done. Yeah, it's in the can. I haven't seen it yet, and I don't know who plays Mandy. Sorry, not Mandy. Martin. But I know the actress that plays the Kerry role. Is absolutely brilliant. Apparently, she's a kind of unknown, and it's based in the Midwest, as you would kind of imagine. Again, kind of nothing much going on. But it was Paul Figg who did Bridesmaids. He's the director. And it was written by the woman who wrote Sin in the City. Is it? What's it called?
Sex in the City.
Sex in the City. Yeah. So it's some heavy hitters, but apparently it's very good.
That's so exciting. Now here's a good question for you. Who would you want to play Martin Mucklowe based on you, Paul?
Well, looks-wise, probably Brad Pitt, but oh my word! Hey, what about the guy? What's his name? Die Hard guy. How about him? But Rick Fenolio was a lecturer at Manchester Metropolitan University. Oh, that's right. I wrote to him because I saw an article. He was the he was running the pilot that Manchester United do. He was doing the kind of sports science behind it, which was under nines, where rather than playing 8v8, the Manchester United Academy did 4v4 games with no referee, and the kids refereed themselves. So I kind of contacted, I thought, oh, this is different, this is more like it, and contacted him, and we had very similar views. So we started Give Us Back Our Game, and it was picked up by the Telegraph. An article went in the Telegraph, and from then on, it was just, I mean, I was on the BBC One News, we were on Channel 4 News, we were in every single paper. I think we worked out, we did 140 TV and radio and newspaper interviews in the first year. So it was unbelievable, and then it culminated in State of the Nation on Sky, who did a whole series about what's happening to kind of kids football, grassroots football, and also about development within academies and stuff.
It's funny, it was Rick. Funny enough, we've got Rick on the podcast next week, which is really ties in nicely. We've timed this quite well, and that State of the Game series on Sky Sports was something that I watched, and probably was my first introduction to you, Paul, with the event that you held at Repton.
Yeah, that's right. It was a kind of our first event, so we had a lot of friends from the football world, obviously. Bert-Jan Heijmans, the Dutch guy who
we're
I
funny
also
with BJ on one of the first podcasts.
So our idea there was we ran the Dutch UK football school for a while. I was involved with, so which was we thought get the organisation of the Dutch, the skill of the Dutch, and that kind of fighting spirit of the British, that was the perfect mix. So we had a weekend at Repton, and obviously that's where I met you, and many other coaches that were looking for something different. And Manchester United brought academy kids down, and also I think it was Sheffield United, was
Derby County and Sheffield United.
That's
Sheffield
right.
Yeah.
And they kind of said to the very kindly, the club said, right, over to you. You take the teams, you know. So just these grassroots coaches suddenly had these kids. Yeah. So it was great fun. It was a brilliant weekend, and we put on various kind of, you know, we had a lot of discussion, and we put on various topics. And just even into the evening, I remember one evening, just under floodlights, we just kind of played and stuff. You know, we just played like kids. You know, times have just changed completely. It's complete turnaround. It's exactly the same in the music industry. You know, you those bands like Oasis and stuff that, you know, in the Thatcher years, and all those kids were on the dole. They had money to buy a few guitars with, you know, find somewhere to practice and just play and play and play and practice. But now kids go to college and university to do songwriting courses. You know, I mean, for God's sake, where's the spontaneity? And imagine the Sex Pistols, Johnny Rotten, doing a songwriting course at university. But that's the way kids are now going.
Yeah,
that's the way it is. That's the kind of academies for music. You know, gee whiz, you know. And I think I think if you compare it to the Beatles, who all happened to live in the same city and didn't have that training, and Celtic in 1967 when they won the European Cup, and every player was born within 30 miles of the ground.
Yeah. It's crazy, and even the class of '92 at Manchester United, the players all broke through at the one stage. You wonder, will that ever happen again?
No, I don't think so, unless it goes full circle. But it's about money now. The world is about money.
And you've been involved in grassroots football for 25 years, and you've written 2 books during that time as well.
Yes, I wrote a book called Learning Through Play, which was basically small-sided games. As a coach, I only had one session a week with my team. So I made it as fun as possible. So it would be, the warm-up would be with a ball each, but then we got straight into kind of small-sided adapted games. So so that the kids used to have to work out kind of problems and solve problems, but in a game environment. That was the best way, because then they went away and they fell in love with the game. So would practice by themselves or practice with each other or siblings or whatever. So that because I didn't have the time to do kind of individual skill work or anything. So they kind of did that themselves because they were so enthusiastic about playing football. So that was really a book kind of based on that. And that was from some games I made up myself. Some were pinched from other people. Some were other coaches' ideas that they let me use. And
it's a brilliant book.
My philosophy.
I've got that book, and to this day, Paul, I still use plenty of your ideas and small-sided games from it. So,
bless you, Tim. $5 in the post, mate.
Yeah, but your other book I really enjoyed from a different aspect of memories of me growing up playing football on the street, and that was Chapped Legs and Punctured Balls.
Now, we were going to call it Jumpers for Goalposts, but the Fast Show had copyrighted it, which seemed to be odd. You know, they had Ron Manager character who was always gone about, jump kids the goalposts, and they copyrighted it, so we couldn't call it that. So it was a rather long-winded name that the publisher came up with, which I didn't think really captured what I was writing about. But yeah, that was really about Red Star United and you know, about my street football days. But also I did a lot of interviews with both professional ex-professionals and just other grassroots coaches about how they played as kids. And I remember I went up and interviewed Tom Finney, who was one of the great, you know, he was on the other wing with who who's the other guy? Stanley Matthews was on the other wing, and he was an interesting character. One of the best dribblers, of a ball in the world. And I said, well, how did you kind of learn to dribble? And he said, well, we used to play in Moore Park, which is right by the Preston North End grounds. And funny enough, my grandmother's on one of my ancestors, it was on my grandmother's side, was one of the founding members of Preston North End.
Is that right?
Yeah. And he said we used to play at Moore Park, and we played about 20 aside. And he said, when you play 20 aside, the trouble is you rarely get the ball. So when I got the ball, I just tried to keep it as long as possible. So you had 20 people trying to tackle you, and then my teammates used to get fed up, so they'd try and tackle me. So sometimes you'd have 39 people trying to tackle you. It might not be fun for everyone, but to develop a world-class dribbler, it was perfect. So it's all, some of those things are missing now. You just wouldn't do that. But you kept the ball. That's the way how to develop someone of his ilk.
Well, Chapped legs and punctured balls. I've still got my signed copy from you that I got at the book launch. I believe in Waterstone's book launch in Cirencester.
That's right. I think we sold about 120 books, and I think we only the publisher rang me, so the following Christmas after that, he said, well, I said, how are book sales? He said, well, not so great. We didn't sell any, and we had one return. And he said, oh, it's been the worst selling book we've ever done. But anyhow, so never mind. So at least, but we sold a few hundred copies.
I don't believe that. I think that's tongue in cheek comment. I thought it was.
It's still on Amazon. You can still buy it on Amazon.
There could be a big flurry now of sales after this podcast, and the publisher will be thinking, what's going on? So if there's a big amount of sales on Chapped legs and punctured balls, I would like the publisher to give some commission towards the podcast as well.
well, I am keen, actually. I did write a film about it and then lost it. So I want to write a film again, do a script, because I think it would be brilliant. As a film. So I might come over, we might film that over in Northern Ireland and get some of your kids on it.
That would be amazing. And
Tim,
of course,
that would be good.
You have to follow them on the Craig Green, the George Best pitch.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be cool.
Well, just in closing, Paul, we need you in your Martin Mucklowe voice to tell listeners, if they want to continue following you, give us your Twitter handle or your best handle on social media.
Oh yeah. Right. So Instagram is really where I'm at. So it's Paul57 Cooper.
And I don't know whether to say goodbye, Martin or Paul.
Actually, I don't think that actually sounded anything like Martin. I'm forgetting how he talks now.
Well, Coops, it's been absolutely brilliant to catch up with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Well, thank you, Tim.
Sharing your journey.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, and love to Leanne and the family.
Yeah, thank you, and you too, mate. Take care.
All right, bye now.
Bye bye.